Welcome to Beyond the Ties That Bind, Freedom Lovers. This is William Moore. I wanted to take a little time to talk about a statement I made in a previous video titled Government is Punishment, because it's a controversial subject. It shouldn't be controversial, and it's not controversial to those who know the truth. But I stated that the people who are in the state of Israel today are the state of Israel, are not true Yisraelis. They do not have a link to the land. They are not the descendants of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, or Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They come from the Caspian Sea region and the kingdom of Khazar. They are Ashkenazis. They have no claim to the land, no rightful claim. They are occupiers. They came in and they kicked the Palestinians off of their land. They took their homes from them. They do not give them the right of return. There's a great book, The 13th Tribe by Arthur Kessler. The 13th Tribe starts out a little bit slow, but this man, what he does in this book is he establishes the history. He documents the facts concerning the people who are in the state of Israel today, and gives the genealogy. He talks about where they came from. Basically, in a nutshell, what happened was about 800 CE, you had the kingdom of Khazar, which was surrounded by Muslims, Christians, and then you had a small group of Yehudim up there. Well, the Muslims on one side would invade the kingdom of Khazar and loot it, plunder it, and then the Christians would come in and loot the kingdom of Khazar and plunder it. And the Christians and the Muslims would war with each other. Well, the emperor of the kingdom of Khazar, he noticed that the Muslims and the Christians never bothered the Yehudim that were there. So what he did was he converted his entire empire to Yehudim. He basically Judaism. He converted them into the religion. However, what they did was they took certain elements of the Yehudim belief and then they mixed it with their Kabbalah. And then we find a lot of different writings in the Talmud that actually have their genesis within the Khazar religion of Kabbalism. So these people are not actually true blood descendants. And then what happened, they migrated from the kingdom of Khazar into Eastern Europe. They went west into what is now known as Poland, Yugoslavia, Germany, Austria. I actually have, Khazar blood in me. So from the Caspian Sea region, they went west into what would be known as Eastern Europe. And then due to the Balfour Declaration, I believe in 1921, where the English government promised Rothschild to give him the land. They promised that they would give him the land now known as the State of Israel in Palestine. So they gave it to him. And in 1948, the United Nations declared that there was a new nation, and it was the State of Israel. This state of Israel, they went in and they basically wiped out hundreds upon thousands of Palestinian people. And I know we've got these false fairy tales that we hear about. The stuff didn't happen. I mean, it's Christian fairy tales. Tune into John Hagee and he'll tell you that angels came down and fought for Israel. Why would angels come down and fight for a nation and a people that reject Messiah? Look, if you reject Messiah, I don't care who you are. You could be an authentic Yehudim or an authentic Yisraelite who can trace his lineage back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It doesn't matter. You are not special in the eyes of the Creator. If you reject Messiah, that's it. You're nothing. And I find it funny that Christians will actually come to the defense of these Ashkenazi Khazars and say that they can do no wrong when they persecute other believers in Messiah. So anyway, they took the land, they pushed the Palestinians off of the land, and they made basically terrorists of these people. Um, uh, and I hope that I can one day get my friend Muhammad from Bethlehem on the phone with me. Got some questions for him, talk to him, and hopefully educate some people. The Palestinian people are great people. They're the most hospitable, most accommodating people on the face of the earth. They live in ruins, yet they're willing to give you the shirt off their back, and many of them are believers, much believers in Messiah. Many more of them are believers in Messiah than the people who say that they are Israelites who live in the state of Israel. So, um, you have a European, basically a European group of people who are occupiers of this land who say that they are Israelites. It would be like me converting to Buddhism and then saying that I'm going to move to China because that's my homeland and that I have a right to that land because my ancestors were Chinese. It doesn't work. You look at these people, they look European. Benjamin Netanyahu, his last name isn't even Netanyahu. I can't remember exactly what his last name is now. Maybe somebody can leave it in the comment section. But it's not Netanyahu. It's a Polish last name, and he changed it to Netanyahu. So everything concerning this state is a fraud. Now, I guarantee that if China came into America, or if Russia came into America and started displacing people who had been here, kind of like the English displaced the indigenous tribes. But anyway, if they came in and started displacing people, taking their homes from them, living in their homes or destroying their homes, you would raise up a new generation of terrorists in the United States of America, if you want to call it that. You would raise up a new generation of terrorists besides the generation of terrorists that we already have in the United States, known as the United States government. So people need to research, they need to have their facts straight before they start talking about Israel. And I know a lot of people probably heard that comment in my last video and were like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Yes, I do. I research it. There's also a man who he is actually a Ashkenazi. He's Khazar, but he used to live in the state of Israel. His name is Iran Elihaik. Iran Elihaik, PhD. He studies population, medicine, and evolutionary genomics. This man, as much as he says he would like to agree with the people in the state of Israel that that is their home, that they have a claim to the land, he says it's not there. Genetically, it's not there. They have no claim to the land genetically. I mean, now what can you do? You can't really displace those people, but we need to stop allowing the state of Israel to displace Palestinians. I find it well. It's sad that believers in Messiah will take the side of the state of Israel, who absolutely hates them. And if you've never been over there, you don't know what you're talking about. I've been over there 5 times. I've spent a good portion of time over there. The people who are Israeli will spit on you. They will not listen to you talk about Messiah. On the Palestinian side, they will. They are very hospitable. They will listen to what you have to say. They will not spit on you. They will not call you a pig. I've been called a pig numerous times by Israelis because of my belief in Mashiach or Messiah. But it's so funny. It's actually, like I said, sad because the American church or American Christianity operates off of a platform of ignorance and stupidity. because they fail to research anything. They just accept anything that their ministers or anything that faux news, or if they watch CNN, they just take all of that and they accept it as gospel without looking into anything at all. And then when somebody comes along like me or Brian with High Impact Flicks or Jake Morphonios or anybody else comes and gives them information that's contrary to that which they've been brainwashed to believe, they just write it off. Oh, I won't accept that. I'll never believe that. They don't look at it at all. And, you know, Mark Twain had a quote, probably my favorite quote. In religion and politics, people's beliefs and convictions are in almost every case gotten at second hand and without examination from authorities who have not themselves examined the questions at issue, but have taken them at second hand from other non-examiners whose opinions about them were not worth a brass farthing. That is so true. So you have people that are being displaced. They're being taken out of their homes. How would you feel if your family lived there for hundreds of years, had a home that they were in, and it was taken from them, and they were forced off their land, and then had to live on nothing, and in conditions that were deplorable? How would you feel? You would be angry too. And that's why we have trouble in the Middle East, because the state of Israel, these imposters, are trying to expand their territory. They want Iraq, they want part of Iran, they want to control the oil, they want Syria, they want part of Egypt. They can't even be happy with the little strip of land that they've been given. And they continue to go in and wipe out whole settlements of Palestinian people. I mean, with bulldozers, it's sad. And then they don't even allow the Palestinian people to have access to things that will keep them, that will provide sanitation or even clean water in some instances. And then to get from Bethlehem into Jerusalem can take almost 4 hours for a Palestinian, even in a time of medical emergency. And there's settlements over there that have walls, I've seen them, 50 feet high, that keep these people inside. Now, the Torah says that you shall treat the stranger as one born in the land, and you shall be hospitable because you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Do these people practice Torah? No. And they hate Mashiach. They hate Messiah. And they hate anyone who believes in Messiah. Read the Talmud. Study the Talmud. See what they say about Messiah in the Talmud. These people are not our friends. They use the United States as their military force in the Middle East, and they control our government through banking and through money and through, blackmail. So anyway, that is why. And if you haven't read this book, if you haven't been to Israel, if you haven't been to Iran El Hayek's website and studied what he has, he's a scientist, then you have no business talking. You've got a right to talk. Nobody's going to listen. You have no business talking if you haven't researched this. And it's a crime what's going on over there, and it's really sad. And it's ridiculous that people in America will not research anything, and they'll jump behind Trump and say, oh, he's such a wonderful guy because he killed General Soleimani. And General Soleimani was actually providing weapons to the believers in Syria, believers in Messiah in Syria and Iraq, so they could continue to defend themselves against attacks from ISIS. But yet he's a bad guy because Trump killed him. And we don't think about how this man was offering aid to fellow believers in Messiah. What did Messiah say about one who gave a disciple or talmidim of his a glass of water to drink in his name? Here, this man was giving weapons so they could protect, they could actually protect their lives. And then you have, believers in Palestine, believers that are in Palestine, in the Gaza Strip and on the West Bank, and in Bethlehem and in Jericho, believers in Messiah. And a lot of the American church will treat those people as third, fourth class citizens and prefer these people who spit on Messiah to actually, uh, they'll defend these people who call themselves Israel and Jewish over people who are seeking Messiah. These people, these Jewish people who will spit on Messiah and spit on people who believe in Messiah, they'll prefer these people over people who believe in Messiah. And that's terrible. Um, you have a situation there where the people in Israel are, and there are some good people there. Don't get me wrong. There's some good people in Israel. And what can you do now? Basically, all we could do is stop uh, Israel's growth and the state of Israel from taking any more land and allow the people to live there in peace together, like they actually were doing back in the 1950s and 60s when the Palestinians, after a short time of war, when in 1948, but the Palestinians and the Israelis, they got along. They got along with each other for a while until governments got involved. And that's why I have this channel, because I want to bring it into all government. I want the market to dictate, and I want people to their logic to dictate, and so that we can do away with this cancer, this blight on society, which is government. But anyway, I've gone a little longer than I wanted to on this, but it wouldn't even matter if the people who were in Israel said that, or it wouldn't even matter if the people who called themselves Israelites or Jewish people, if they were true descendants of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, it wouldn't matter. They have no right to the land anyway, because they rejected Messiah, and then he kicked them out of the land starting in 70 CE. Just as Messiah prophesied he would, and he did. So it wouldn't even matter if these people could truly trace their lineage back to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Wouldn't matter at all, because they've rejected Messiah. Therefore, by their rejection of Messiah, they have no right or claim to anything. The only one who has a claim for anything on the earth is the creator of the earth. Now you can, live on a piece of land, cultivate it, call it your own, and hopefully it stays your own. But over in Palestine, that's not how it is for the Palestinians. But anyway, these people were, Messiah removed them from their land, and then his kingdom went into the whole world. And people who don't believe in Messiah, it doesn't matter what, their lineage is, doesn't matter their genealogy. If they don't believe in Messiah, they have no claim to anything, and they're living under the Creator Elohim's mercy. That's it. So until next time, this is William Moore for Beyond the Ties That Bind. Everyone have a great evening.